So, as they say, it's all happening. All of a sudden, that rate up to 8.87. In fact, that is the end of the over.
The biggest of them all, really. 16 runs coming from it. Oh, we are going to see Calvin Savage, the man that took 4 wickets yesterday, be introduced into the attack. No real surprise there.
Calvin Savage, for me, similar bowler to Justin Dill. In fact, I don't know that I'd say that each one is very different from the other. Calvin Savage maybe just a touch quicker through the air, but they both bowl that heavy ball, and they both are going to be asking Shaheen Jahangir to play that ball from short of a length.
Yeah, definitely I think is one of the all-rounders to watch out for. He hasn't done much with the bat, but I watched him in that minor league for the Chicago franchise, and he played several match-winning innings with the bat in hand. Is a powerful striker of the ball. Calvin Savage starts Yorker, and a run-out chance as well. Great awareness. That is excellent. Just being cognizant of the fact that there was an opportunity at the bowler's end, and I think had he hit the stumps, Jahangir would have been gone.
Wow. So no indication so far from umpire Jermaine Lindo, which tells me obviously that that was an inside edge onto the boot. Had that not been an inside edge, that would have been a really interesting decision. Yorker length. I mentioned that Calvin Savage usually asks you to play from a short of a length delivery, but that was right up there in the block hole, striking Shaheen Jahangir on the boot, but apparently it would have deflected off of the inside edge first, which is why there was no signal for leg by, indicating that that might have come off the bat.
If you're now joining us for the first time, we welcome you. This broadcast where the Kingsmen, of course, won the toss, opted to bat first. A good start for them. Hold the pose. Chetan Bish. Excellent. Through extra cover inside out. He's been looking for that shot for a while. They're scoring this wrong. They have Cheyenne batting. Bish. That's not Cheyenne, is that a non-striker then?
Shaheen Jahangir at the non-striker's end, and Chetan Bish with a beautiful lofted extra cover drive, too wide of that fielder at mid-off, running away for 4.
And this time, square and the same result. So boundary. And he's now coming into his own, Chetan Bish.
If I had to guess, I would guess that he was trying to play that through the covers, but it looks like it came off the outside edge, but still doing enough to keep it down. And it runs off of that, running off the square and running away down to backward point for yet another boundary. So Chetan Bish now up to 22 from 15 with 4 fours.
So far, a contrasting start to where he was yesterday, Calvin Savage. First over was brilliant, picked up a wicket. Today, though, having to work a bit harder on this surface. It's been expensive as well. But I tell you, Brian, I give a lot of credit to bowlers bowling from this southern end, running into the wind. It's not easy by any means, so.
My goodness.
And they're inside the power play. Another thing to deal with the fielding restrictions. Goes full again. Shaheen Jahangir always looking for a single, but a couple of times in this innings he could have easily been run out had the fielders hit the stumps.
Oh, you mentioned that you're still inside the power play. Still inside the power play, and that run rate 9.43. So as of right now, you're still projected to have a relatively high-scoring game. Obviously, a lot can happen between now and the end of the innings. But at that same rate, their current rate would get them to 189.
Is it an opportunity? No. Sails over the rope. All the way for 6. They're not phased by the 4 wickets he took yesterday. New day, new opportunity. Chetan Bish, wow.
Oh, my goodness. Look at the front foot here, going outside the line of off stump and fetching that from a 5th stump line and lofting it deep over that fielder on the boundary at deep mid-wicket for his first 6. A tremendous strike by Chetan Bish. Just one ball remaining in Calvin Savage's first over. It's already gone for 16.
This time going past the outside edge. But to take that delivery from wide outside that off stump and actually hit it through square leg takes immense skill. End of 5 overs, 50 for none.
Well, we'll have a change of bowler as we had a change in commentary. Aman Patel joining Brian Walters in the booth, and we're going to see one of the members of the champion Seattle Thunderbolts side in the 2022 minor league season, Akhilesh Badagam, coming in with the ball in hand. A very tall bowler. You would think that means he's going to be a pacer, but no, he's going to come in and bowl some finger spin and picks up handy wickets in his own right. And I actually have a great story to tell after we get into a couple of deliveries here, but he'll be looking to pick up the wicket of Shayan Jahangir or Chetan Bish, who have just started to tee off here, Brian.
Is it possible that we'll see close to 800 runs in one day, Aman?
It seems rather likely the way these guys are batting, but straight away, look at them asking the right questions.
Well, I don't know that Shayan Jahangir needs to be sweeping that ball. The first delivery from the tall off spinner. You would think that an off spinner bowling to Shayan Jahangir, that would allow him to open up that area over deep mid wicket.
This time is pushed through mid wicket, and Badagam possesses a lot of good variations, can get the ball to turn both ways, and very confident young man. Actually, during the minor league draft last year, was watching the stream, and we had a conversation over Instagram, and I said, you play for the Atlanta Fire now in Seattle. I said, sucks, I can't, won't be able to call any of your games this season. He said, don't worry, I'll see you in Mooresville for the final.
Boom, there it is.
There you go. He catches me after the final and said, I told you I'd be here.
I love it.
So, very confident young man, very good with the ball in his hand. But this time, pulls it just a touch short, has protection out at deep mid-wicket. Also might have some of the best sunglasses in the game there, Brian.
Well, I agree that if you saw him warming up ahead of time, if you were in the opposition, you saw this young man who you didn't know ahead of time, if you see him stretching in the outfield, you'd have thought he'd have the new ball in his hands bowling from 30 yards away.
As we just see it tucked into leg side. Didn't get an opportunity to play yesterday, and so that's why you're going to see him with the ball in his hand, and, an opportunity to showcase an ability here. Spinners are, in today's game, more and more relied upon to finish out power plays just to see if they can execute and get that one wicket, bowling without all that protection. And it's a skill, and it's a way for Badagam to show these scouts just exactly how skilled he is. Quick single, gone and taken.
It's certainly a skill, and he's doing exactly what his captain needs him to do here. Just one ball remaining in his first over, but has only conceded 4 runs so far and has managed to drag that run rate down to 9.26, which is still high, but it was up over 10 just a few deliveries ago.
And going to finish it with the dot ball. A good over, just 4 runs to come from it. After 6, it's 54 with that loss.
Akhilesh Badagam with his first over, good economical over. Now going back to Calvin Savage, who was treated more rudely than you would think. 1 over goes for 16, so it doesn't look like the same bowler from yesterday. But of course, conditions today, I think, a lot more conducive for the batting side, as 400 runs in the first match and 54 runs in the first 5 overs would suggest here.
Yeah, Sun on this wicket, baking it down.
And the first 6, my apologies.
You talked about it, Calvin Savage yesterday. 4 wickets, had a double wicket maiden to close things out in the first innings, and again was really the story of that bowling innings. But so far, his over has been the story. It's allowed Chetan Bish to really get going, and he'll be back on strike to face this over. was looking to pick up where he left off with that expansive drive. We've seen him play it 2 or 3 times and see him miss out a couple of times, just evading the outside edge.
Yeah, that ball from Savage slanting in toward off stump and then straightening after it pitches. And he's bowling a good length. That length is the one that draws the batter forward. And when that ball leaves him, that's always going to threaten the outside edge. I think you see that man at backward point who would be interested in that. And the man deep down at third man who will also be interested in that type of shot.
This time just starts wider and keeps it away out of the arc of Chetan Bish. And again, Calvin Savage is shaking the head there. I'm not sure that's exactly what he was looking for. And you can see Giant Gear asking for a wide. It's a conversation you're always going to have with the umpire.
Of course. So, yeah, that one was probably a little bit wider than Calvin Savage wanted. But still, 2 dot balls in a row. And Chetan Bish strikes me as the type of batter who wants to feel bat on ball. So he might be getting a little antsy here.
That one's definitely a wide. And again, you can see him just trying to keep it out of the arc, keep Chetan Bish reaching, and it almost looks like he's trying to roll the fingers over it as well. And just missing the line here is Calvin Savage.
Calvin Savage, a really good bowler. And, you know, I've always said around the wicket is not as good an option as over the wicket, but if you can have it pitch and then leave the left-handed, that's a better option.
This one, inner half of the bat, but it's well safe out to the man at deep mid-wicket. They're thinking about 2 confusion, and maybe a better throw could have been something, but nearly Shayan Jahangir was left stranded at the keeper's end.
Shayan Jahangir wanting to, always pushing for that second run. Very aggressive runner. And that good clean pickup and a throw. Boy, almost absolutely heartbreaking there for Shayan Jahangir, but able to get back in because the throw, even though it was released very quickly, it wasn't a very strong throw, and that sort of kicked up in the air before it got to keeper and captain Jaskaran Malhotra.
And a good Yorker this from Calvin Savage. Well fended, though, by Shayan Jahangir. And again, this is why Calvin Savage is going to be such a sought-after prospect in this draft that will happen Sunday, March 19th, and because he has all these different deliveries he can throw out there.
That is a great Yorker. So Yorker is, of course, one of the more difficult deliveries to nail, because if it is too full, then it becomes a full toss that's easily hittable. If it's too short, then it's a half volley, which is absolutely hittable. And, of course, hitting with the wind from that direction, you don't execute that Yorker to perfection, then you can certainly go for runs. But Calvin Savage, on 2 different occasions to Shayan Jahangir, has done just that.
And again, keeping it outside of the reach of Chetan Bish, who just wants that big, expansive, lofted cover drive and just hasn't found it. And you got to wonder, Brian, when does he start to put that shot back away?
Well, on one occasion, you saw him walk across toward the off stump to access the leg side. I'm wondering if he doesn't have that, as you see there in the replay, just swinging and missing. But he's playing that from his original guard on leg stump. I don't know that I don't want to see him stepping across to the offside to try to access that ball from outside off stump.
Bring up a good point, especially because every delivery Savage has bowled to Bish has been well outside that off stump. This time does move. It's a low full toss that he's just able to push away and will be held to 1. But again, I like that adjustment, as you mentioned, that movement across the stumps.
That's exactly right. So just a single to close things out here in the 7th. After 7 overs, the score is 58 without loss.
So you have to expect Akhilesh Bogadam to continue, and he will do just that. He looked very good, just giving up 4 runs in his first over. And again, we saw Jaskaran Malhotra not have to really rely on anyone too heavily yesterday. He had plenty of options all throughout the day just because of how well all of his options bowled. And you have to imagine he's going to continue to rotate people around and keep different options moving. And so it helps when your bowlers are all hitting the right areas.
Well, bowlers so far. Calvin Savage, 2 overs for 20, but his first over went for 16. So this last over is a much better one for him. And then the other bowlers, Rusty Theron, 2 overs for 12, so he's done well. Justin Dill, 2 for 21, a little expensive. And then Akhilesh Bogodum's 1 over has gone for 4. So generally, you've gotten what you've needed from the support bowlers and certainly from Rusty Theron himself. But with no wickets having been taken yet, you can expect these two to be a little bit more adventurous.
Look to be adventurous. Big shout. And the raise of the finger. And there it is, wicket number 1. It looked pretty good, looked pretty straight. That angle from the right-hander back into the left. And that's going to be the end of Chetan Bish.
Chetan Bish, unfortunately for him, choosing to play a sweep shot to a ball that was pretty dead straight. I don't know that he wouldn't want to have been playing that in the V back down the wicket. Here's Sir Akhilesh Bogodum from around the wicket, relatively wide of the crease. But yes, that is dead straight. For me, that's hitting off stump. About a third of the way up, maybe. And umpire Owen Brown taking a good look, but then deciding to raise the finger, the slow finger of death, a la the late, great Rudy Kurtzen. And the first wicket goes down, the score is 58 for 1.
And then when you talk about Akhilesh Bogodum, guy who can turn it, but he keeps it flat through the air, and it's because of his height. It's just always coming down. Doesn't really give you as much time, and sometimes can just fool you with how quick it is going to come down. See a new man coming into the middle. It's going to be Shehan Jayasuriya coming in. So another left-hand bat to keep that lefty-righty combo going. And, of course, Shehan playing in Sri Lanka picks up so many runs there. And then in minor league cricket, part of the Silicon Valley Strikers. Runs on top of runs on top of runs. And these two would know each other well, both playing in that Pacific Conference, playing in that conference final at Church Street Park. Starts right on the money, does Bogodum.
Shenjai Surya plays very well square of the wicket. Both conventional sweeps and reverse sweeps sometimes. I don't expect him to do that first up, but he's generally also a very good player of spin.
That one just run down to third man. Chance of a run out of the bowler's end. I think that throw was just a little bit wayward. Had that been closer to the stumps, easier collection, could have been trouble for Shehan Jayasuriya.
Oh, a direct hit there. Absolutely would have had him a dead duck, I think. Quick pickup and a throw. Here comes the throw now. If that carries through without having to be collected, and particularly if it doesn't bounce on the turf, that is, he's out by 2 yards.
This time in a Jahangir, just runs it down to that short third, and this time no adventurous run is taken. So Bogodum doing exactly what his captain's asking him. You're not seeing him try too many things. It's just flat on that length, not giving the batters anything to drive down the ground. Little gamesmanship there. Something we see more and more here, Brian.
And Shan Jahangir loves the challenge. I want to see what he does with this next delivery.
Goes with the sweep shot, lofted, fielder coming around, and he's put it down. The plan nearly worked. It's not going to go all the way to the boundary for 4, but nearly the second wicket. And we've seen time and time again catches being dropped here, and that one put down.
That was lofted, really a nothing shot because not much power on it, and the fielder running around from deep backward square was in position, got there easily. That was Nitish Kumar, and one of the better fielders that you'll find anywhere. You would not have expected him to drop that, but he does put it down.
Puts it down, and just a single to end this. Even with the drop catch, 3 runs in it out the wicket of Chetan Bish, and the score reads 61 for 1 at the end of 8. So spin from both ends now. As we're going to see the introduction of a spinner. And one who showed off yesterday as well, and showed off from the opposite end yesterday, as it's Sarabjit Ladda coming in with ball in hand. Had a good spell yesterday. It's going to be relied upon. Jaskar Malhotra and him, both members of the DC Hawks in minor league cricket. So they know each other well and understand what each other's games are.
Sarabjit Ladda bowled very well yesterday. Again, conditions yesterday are very different from what they are right now. This time he's bowling, interestingly, spinner bowling from the southern end. You know, the wind has changed directions 4 or 5 times today, but I think even right now it's still sort of, now it's blowing back from the south. And so he may have the wind behind his back. Of course, that could change in the mid-over.
Big appeal straight away. And again, Ladda always asks the right questions. He's always someone who's in the game, and again, he's just going to poke around the batter, always making them think.
Interesting that you see now Unmuk Chand drops back onto the boundary for the left-hander. He's down here in front of us at long on. There's also a deep mid-wicket and a deep square leg.
And it's hit straight, and it's taken off leg stump. The second time we've seen that happen in this MLC Champions Open. And again, that leg stump proving to be a good fielder for the bowling side, because that was destined to come to the boundary for 4 runs.
That leg stump being a 12th man on the field for the UMMC Knight Riders, because that was stroked very hard. There you see umpire Jermaine Lindo taking evasive action. And luckily for him and for the UMMC Knight Riders, 3 runs have been saved there, because that certainly would have gone for 4. Look where the bail ends up, all the way down to the 30-yard circle. My goodness.
And it's just it shows you the power of Shehan Jayasuriya. Again, conventional or unconventional, all the shots in the book, and you can put plenty of power behind it. But Shehan Jayasuriya, the man on strike, he's one with much power as well. Put up so many runs that the USA team had called him up after his incredible minor league stint. And this one's hit in the air. Doesn't have enough on it. Umukchand coming around, but he's not going to be able to do anything with it. Speaking of power, he showed it off right there. Jahangir, 6 runs.
Speaking of power, he did not hit that anywhere near as well as he could have. Actually, he sort of, that came off the higher part of the bat. That was not off the meat. He sort of had to reach for it. And off the bat, I actually thought that that was going to be caught, but it does carry all the way for 6. Shehan Jahangir packs a punch. I'll say more about that after this ball.
Looks like Jahangir will have more to say, but this time it's straight up into the air. Umukchand coming underneath it and unable to take it. He ran quite a long ways in, all the way to the 30-yard circle, and it pops in and out. The second drop chance, the second life given to Shehan Jahangir.
Shehan Jahangir now probably getting a little bit carried away that time, because that ball wasn't quite there for that shot, and he did not advance down the wicket. He didn't use his feet, so was not anywhere near the pitch. Umukchand making a sprint of about 30 yards, but not able to get to it.
And just this one just evades Shehan Jayasuriya, and you can see moving it the other direction.
I'm sorry, what I started saying a second ago. Shehan Jahangir is somebody who takes his weight training very seriously. If you ever shake his hands are like a vice grip, and power-packed, very muscular, and somebody who is able to be a lot stronger than you would think.
And this one pushed down the ground for 1 to end the over. Another eventful one. Another dropped catch. Back-to-back overs with a drop catch. 9 overs gone, 70 for the loss of 1. Volgadam going to be given his 3rd over here. And why not? Produced a wicket. Should have had a second one in the over. And it'll be starting off to Jayasuriya. And nearly inside edge onto the pads. And nearly trickles back onto the stumps. And like you said, Bogadam asking all the right questions.
Oh, you see Shahan Jayasuriya trying in vain to prevent the ball from rolling towards the stumps. Luckily for him, it did not disturb the furniture.
This one just tucked into the leg side. Jayasuriya thinking about two, but they're just going to settle for the one to put Jahangir back on strike. And we'll see if Jahangir tries to slow things down, you know, kind of regroup in that sense. We've seen 3 consecutive shots of his where he's looked to go down the ground and big, and 2 of them were drop catches. So we'll see if he elects to just try to regroup and resettle here.
He's very aggressive and somebody who tries to take the attack to the opposition.
Tries to once again, it's lofted. Going to fall short of any fielder, just going to be one, and that time a little bit more conventional. So it'll be Jayasuriya back on strike. Field spread open. And again, there was a vacant short mid-wicket region just tucked in there, and Bogadam will go fetch it to keep it just to one. But these are handy overs for the UMMC Knight Riders and Jaskar Malhotra. Just quiet overs, a couple wickets in there, but again, just able to slow the run rate down. Remember, at one point, this run rate was above 10. It's now under 8, so this has been a great comeback and fight back from the Knight Riders.
No question. And just with 2 balls remaining here in the 10th. Akhilesh Bogadam looking to close that out strong.
Again, just a little tickle into the leg side. And I think if you are the Kingsmen, they've identified Bogadam as one of the bowlers they don't want to necessarily take on. And another tickle into the leg side to finish out the 10th over. Halfway through this first innings, it's 75 for the loss of 1.
Ten overs down. The Kingsmen have got 9 wickets in hand, but they want to enhance that scoring rate. And that is one way to do it. Shahan Jayasuriya, probably the best player of spin in this competition. Sent to number 3 today, Brian. And Sarbajit Lada is not an easy man to hit for 4. He's bowled really well in the last couple of days.
He has bowled really well, but I said it earlier and you just emphasized that the best player of spin that you probably see anywhere in this tournament, and he's very strong square of the wicket, both sweeping the ball and playing through the offside. Loves those little late cuts and dabs too, so certainly a long way to go, but Shahan Jayasuriya is looking very dangerous.
Much better delivery from Lada. What you love about him though is that he flights the ball, is very full, like we saw in that last over. Even if he goes for runs, doesn't back down. Knows as a leg spinner, you tend to be expensive at times, but batters will come at you, so you're always in the game in terms of picking up wickets.
Jayasuriya actually batting on an off-stump guard, looking to access that leg side. You see that view right down the wicket. Look right before he takes his mark or takes his guard. There, that toe of that back foot is right on off-stump. So he's batting on his off-stump guard, looking to access the leg side. Ooh. Tries to run that one down behind point, looking to do that little late cut that I mentioned. Loves playing that little late dab. Missing out on that occasion, though, and passing perilously close to the outside edge.
That one just seemed to have come back. He has a well-disguised googly. I want to see that on the replay in terms of whether it did come back. Well, it would have been the genuine leg spinner. May have just spun back at the last minute because he's a left-hander, so would ball predominantly googlies to go away from him.
Wow.
You see what he's doing here, Brian, is the majority of deliveries bowled by Sarvjit Ladder are outside that off stump. He doesn't want to risk allowing Jayasuriya to hit into the leg side, which is a very small side, and with the win at his advantage. End of 11 overs, just the boundary from the over, 79 for 1.
That's a great comeback by Sarvjit Ladder, giving up a boundary on that first ball, but then after that, all 5 deliveries are well outside the line of off stump. So even though Shane Jayasuriya moving over and taking that off-stump guard, looking to access that leg side, he does well enough, Sarvjit Ladder, to keep that ball outside of off. And 5 dot balls to bowl to a man who is, we have said, the best player of spin that you'll see probably in this game. So great going. Good over by Sarvjit Ladder.
Well, Badogam has bowled well, and it's why he's been given the ball again. But Jahangir is connected with that, and the win to help. No chance of catching it out the middle of the bat. It's been a struggle for Jahangir, but he does have the ability to go through the gears. Huge hit. We've seen a lot of sixes in that area. It's sort of a different innings for Shayan Jahangir. Uncharacteristic, really. Someone that likes to start pretty aggressively in the power play, but today opting to sort of dig in initially. Now looking to make up for that start. First real sign of any aggression against Akhilesh Badogam we've seen today. A good way to start the over as well. Put him under some pressure. It's his 4th over on the trot. Jahangir's faced him in all 4 of the overs, so he would have had a good look at him. Just say welcome to Peter Delapenna. We'll want to get that scoring rate closer to 10 runs and over if they want anywhere close to 200 from here. Peter Delapenna.
And we saw even that wasn't enough in the first match. So, yeah, they've got to step on the accelerator here. In particular, Jayasuriya.
Likes to go across the line, though, Jahangir. Pretty much regardless of the length, he will look to target that small boundary. It's a high risk, high reward scenario. But if he connects with it, we've seen the distance it can travel. Plays the reverse, but plays it onto his stumps. And Akhilesh Badogam, even after going for the maximum, he's bowled very well today. 2nd wicket for him, and an important one for the UMMC Knight Riders.
Yeah, Akhilesh Badogam, he's someone he's had a sneaky amount of success. He's kind of flown under the radar a little bit. But there's a reason why he's here. Just because he's very accurate, puts pressure on. And Jahangir felt like he needed to be a little bit more innovative. And miscues the reverse sweep. Looked like it came off his elbow. He was through the shot a touch early, and it kind of rolled off his arm onto the stumps. So it was slightly unlucky in that sense. I don't think the ball was going to hit the stumps if it didn't take the carom off of his arm. But it brings the end to his innings. It felt like there was just, at times, the latter stages there, pressure being put on at the other end because Jayasuriya has had a little bit of a struggle trying to get going here. Just kind of stalled some of the momentum that Shayan Jahangir had leading to the wicket.
Now Shubham Ranjani comes to the middle. Very excited to see him, especially with some more time. 30 from 17 yesterday. Onslaught towards the back end of the innings. We'll see his real versatility coming in a lot earlier, but still this team needing a similar type innings to get them to a comfortable, respectable position. These two both from India, but both playing for the Seattle Thunderbolts, so they know each other very well. Would have faced Badogam several times in the nets. Ranjana can't get off the mark, though, in his first 2 deliveries. Very good spell from Akhilesh Badogam. Didn't bowl yesterday, didn't play yesterday in his first game. 2 for 18 in his 4 overs. 85 for 2.
Hey, somebody's got somewhat peculiar backstory. He's born in Tennessee, and he qualifies as a U.S. citizen as a result, but he spent most of his life growing up in Hyderabad, played in the Hyderabad system prior to coming over back to the USA again a couple years ago. And he's one of the guys who's had a very quietly successful run in minor league cricket, part of the champion squad, the Thunderbolts out of Seattle.
Has hit that in the gap, Jayasuriya, and it actually splits the 2 fielders. Had a deep mid-wicket, had a long on, which was very wide, and still Shayan Jayasuriya finds a way to pierce the gap.
Oh, this is more like it from Jayasuriya. He's had a little bit of trouble getting unstuck, just shuffling across the stumps, creating a different line, different angle. Really not showing any part of the stumps to Sarvjit Lada. He's basically taking guard almost outside off stump.
This time goes straight. All the tricks in the book for Shayan Jayasuriya. He started slowly, now trying to catch up in this innings. Back-to-back boundaries.
Yeah, it's just that shift in guard. He's not given anything to look at for the bowler, daring him to bowl straight on the stumps, and instead of dragging it outside off stump, he's getting that width to attack. Just powers it down the ground.
Good adjustment from Lada. Forces him to go a lot quicker, but because he knows that Sarvjit Lada always flights the ball and is very full, he just has to use his feet, get very close, and he's able to find the boundary twice. Can Ranjani learn from that and do similar? Not often in T20 cricket you see 6 overs of spin consecutively. But Jaskar Malhotra's gone to both Lada and Bodogam in this middle period, trying to contain the Kingsmen. Ranjani finally off the mark.
Yeah, Ranjani had an outstanding knock yesterday. As we see Jack J. Arun Kumar, formerly the USA national team and coach, now affiliated with the Mumbai Indians. And they've got a tie-up here with one of the minor league franchises, major league franchises. You see his dog, the Beagle, there.
Similar area as he hit the first one in the over. And Shayan Jayasuriya, he's taking over things at the moment. This is what we're used to from this man, the Sri Lankan. Excellent player of spin.
Well, it's only a couple moments ago that his strike rate was hovering around 60, and now it's comfortably over 100.
Think he's got him. I think he's got him. Malhotra thought he was initially celebrating, but Jayasuriya looks okay. Thought that bat leg may have just raised for a split second, but in the end he survives. A good over though for him. And for the Kingsmen, able to get 18 runs from the over, 99 for 2. Yeah, this will be a ground Shayan Jayasuriya knows very well. He scored one of his hundreds in the minor league season right here on this field number 6 for the Silicon Valley Strikers. Actually scored consecutive hundreds in Houston, so there's something about the air here in Houston, Texas that he loves.
There's the Beagle. There's Jack's dog. It's been a fixture here the last couple days.
I think she's waiting for a maximum. Looks pretty excited about the cricket.
Oh, she's been barking up a storm. Anytime there's been a ball that's crossed the boundary, yeah, any 4s and 6s, the Beagle's getting excited. As Ali Sheikh is on now with his left arm spin. Made his USA senior team squad debut back in the T20Is that USA hosted against Ireland in December 2021. He's based out of Plano, Texas, born in Doha, Qatar. Not too many international players who can claim to have been born in Qatar. But Ali Sheikh is one of those. He moved with his family to Texas. I want to say around the age of 12 or 13 is when he came here. And he's basically learned all of his cricket, developed all of his cricket through the Texas Academy system.
Was also the USA Under-19 captain, correct, Peter?
He was the captain that wasn't, if you want to call it that. It was supposed to lead a squad that never got a chance to participate in the ICC World Cup qualifying process. It was quite unfortunate that because of the COVID restrictions, they didn't get a chance to compete against Canada and the other Americas teams.
He's definitely one to watch, though. For those new to Ali Sheikh, we saw Abiram Boliseti earlier today. This man is another one that is very capable in all three facets of the game. Took the most catches in the minor league season, 19 catches this year. So, well, last year, really, but he's very talented in terms of width in the field and with the ball in hand. Can hit a few maximums as well.
He's very athletic. He's an excellent fielder, as you pointed out, but he's also a very cagey thinker. Part of the reason why he was named captain, there were a couple left-arm spinners in the team at that point in time. Sanjay Krishnamurthy was one, Ali Sheikh was another, and they had a lot of spin options. They're probably much better turners of the ball than Ali Sheikh. He kind of darts it in flat, but he's a very, very cagey thinker. He varies his pace, varies his flight a bit to keep people off balance.
Just goes through extra cover, but he does get a hand on it. It just slows it up.
Whereas Sanjay Krishnamurthy really dominated players with his left-arm spin through flight and turn and accuracy, Ali Sheikh was getting 5-wicket hauls much more through just variations in his pace. He's always thinking about how he wants to keep the batter off balance, not be predictable. And that's what's made him an asset with the ball in terms of his left-arm spin. And then, as you said, he's got the power to clear the ropes with the bat. He's outstanding in the field. He's got all three boxes ticked off in terms of what he brings to the table on a cricket field.
105 for 2. Peter, why is it that the United States is able to produce so many left-arm spinners? Seen them everywhere.
Something in the water, Nikhil. Not sure what else, how to explain it. But yeah, there's no shortage of those around U.S. cricket. You've got, obviously, within the national team setup itself, Nisarg Patel, Nastush Kenjige,
Kareem Agor,
who's gone on to greener pastures back in the Leeward Islands. The USA sure could use him. You've got, again, Sanjay Krishnamurthy. You've got Marty Kane. You've got Vatsal Vagela. Ali Sheikh. It's just a factory line of them being produced.
Well, this is not something I was expecting. Nitish Kumar is coming to the attack. Clearly, Jaskar Malhotra has found something on this surface with spin. Because since the 8th over, we've had consecutive spin into the attack from both ends. I think they may be dealing with some injury concerns to some of their seamers, so that's why they may have to, just may force the hand of Malhotra, but that's what we're talking about from Ali Sheikh. The fielding, excellent. One-handed effort.
And that's unfortunate. That's just effort. Through effort, he's conceded an overthrow. There's more fielders who probably wouldn't have even gotten to that ball, and it would have just been 4. It would never have cut that off. Ali Sheikh gets there and cuts it off with an outstanding diving effort. And then his hustle, unfortunately, leads to an overthrow hitting the stumps. You can't fault the effort there from Ali Sheikh. And of the American-developed players, I would say, on display who've been here over the first couple of days. He's arguably the one that stood out the most. There's been others who've had some opportunities, whether in the 11 or as subfielders, who have faltered a little bit. Not sure if there's nerves going on or it's just being overwhelmed by the step up in class, but Ali Sheikh is really stood out.
That is excellent. In the gap from Shayan Jayasuriya, and they really need to get a move on because they still have 8 wickets in hand. They're only going at 7.5 runs per over. But a welcome boundary for this Kingsmen side.
Yeah, just too much width. Just in that slot on 5th stump. And Jayasuriya profits off that.
Even though he's had to go to spin Jaskar Malhotra, I don't think he'll mind this too much. Still going at less than 8 runs and over, even though he's gone to a few part-time options. Still seeing Calvin Savage on the field, so I think he can go back to his seam. Ranjani, big side or small side, it doesn't matter. Similar to the striking we saw on day number 1 of this MLC Champions Open. 120 for 2.
Tell you, this guy just keeps getting more and more impressive. His stock continues to rise. Out of relative obscurity, Shubham Ranjani is not just a blip on the radar. He's getting more and more signals off of his bat, that beacon that's going out. The 4s and 6s that clear the boundary, each one that happens, Shubham Ranjani, he gets closer and closer to the center of the radar signal for these franchises who are looking to draft players coming up on Sunday in the MLC draft at NASA Johnson Space Center.
Well, he's quickly made a name for himself, Peter, and another man has quickly made a name for himself, Ali Sheikh. You mentioned all the under-19 success and the quick ascension through minor league, and so he's been given a couple overs here. Again, didn't bowl yesterday and just trying to make the most. We saw the outstanding effort in the field just an over ago. For the Kingsmen, hasn't been quite the high-flying innings I think a lot of us thought could happen based off what we saw from the first match, but still an opportunity to get into that 160 range from here. As Ranjani and Jayasuriya continue to get singles around the ground.
And I gotta say, U.S. Cricket is fortunate to have Ali Sheikh in the setup because I've seen him in warm-ups with Bert Cockley when Bert brings out the American football, and Ali Sheikh throws a very tight spiral. He's very athletic. He could play a number of different sports if he wants, but he's got his heart set on cricket.
And Peter, there's one of your favorite shots, the reverse sweep brought out there by Shayan Jayasuriya, unable to connect, but
I like the reverse sweep for 4. I don't like the reverse sweep for a dot ball. You got to make contact, Shayan.
this time more conventional. We'll get 1 as he runs it down to short third and just using the pace. And this has been a real good fight back from UMMC. Again, it was a high-flying start. Got to 50 in 5 overs, and from there, the next 70 runs coming in 10 overs. So starting to restrict the Kingsmen. A big sweep was brought out there by Shubham Ranjani, unable to connect, and again we'll get 1. It's been really good work here from Ali Sheikh and company.
Again, you watch him, he's not somebody who's going to turn the ball an awful lot, but just this variation in pace, and he bowls at what I would call a T20 pace, the standard now that's darting it in quick. He doesn't give batters an opportunity to use their feet. They have to play from the crease, and he makes life difficult for them, especially when he's as accurate as he is. And if you get a spinner who's just conceding singles and dot balls, he'll take that 7 days a week.
And that'll do it for the 16th over. It's 125 for 2. And Peter, you brought it up. It's that T20 pace. There's a different element to T20 bowling. It's more about just not giving the batters anything rather than searching for wickets, more playing on the defensive. And it's what these teams in this draft are going to be looking for, players who can play at a T20 speed. It's a T20 tournament. And that's why I think you've seen a lot more of these batters play these unconventional shots and these bowlers being put in these tough situations.
Calvin Savage is going to come back into the attack, and one of the things that was being signaled in terms of why there's been so much spin is that we believe Rusty Tehran is off the field getting some treatment, and it's unclear if he's actually going to be able to return to complete his quota of overs. So that's why that's one of the reasons why they've gone to more spin until now. Well, Calvin Savage took 4 wickets yesterday. He's still searching for his first one today.
Had an expensive first spell there, Peter. Went for 20 runs in his first 2 overs, and it was Chetan Bish who really was taking it to him. Chetan Bish scoring 32 from his first 26, and again it was Calvin Savage who he seemed to grow a liking to. This one's pulled, and it's pulled straight into the 10s. The scouts better look out. It's hit straight there, and it's Shehan Jayasuriya saying, I haven't gone anywhere. 6 runs.
It was an opportunity for Albie Morkel and Ryan Tendescott to show off if their fielding skills are still sharp or a little bit rusty. Shehan Jayasuriya was targeting them, and they all had to start scurrying in that second 10 from left to right.
Again, impressive. Just picks it up off of that length and just did a really nice job there. Let's see how he backs it up here. Goes fuller, goes straighter though, and is going to go all the way for 4, showing the wide range of shots he has. It's Shehan Jayasuriya at his finest, climbs into the 40s.
Well, you could see what Calvin Savage was trying to do there. He was going for Yorker, and he just misfired on the length. Winds up being a full toss. And at knee height, it's just spanked back down the ground through mid-on, and Unmukt Chand, no chance to cut that off.
Now the comeback Calvin Savage is hoping for. And the misery continues. Good work to get a hand in that in the infield. Saved a couple of runs.
Nitish Kumar trying to do some work to make up for that drop chance that he had earlier. Had a deep square leg. Took a fantastic catch yesterday, and the chance at deep square leg was a lot more straightforward than the one he put down yesterday. He's showing how active he is in the field now in the ring for the left-hander anyway. Jayasuriya now back out at deep square leg for the right-hander.
And Shubham Ranjane, he's come to the party. A couple of boundaries. Starting to light up this ground. Go short, pulled to Nitish Kumar, as you mentioned, Peter. Just for 1 run there, but you see a little extra emphasis there from Calvin Savage as he hit it into the deck. So 1 delivery left. It's been an expensive over. 12 runs coming from it. The spinners had kind of bogged things down, especially the likes of Bogadam and Ali Sheikh, but this over just relieves a lot of that pressure. Looking to play that late cut, but misses out on it. So that'll be the end of the 17th over. It's 137 for 2. Well, we're not sure if Rusty Tehran's going to come back, so it's going to force Jaskar Malhotra's hand to continue to bowl spin here in the last 3 overs. Always an interesting call. You hear a lot of people who just won't do it. It just depends on the type of spinner. But Ludda, in his previous over, was taken away for 14 runs, usually a wicket-taking bowler. But he just hasn't found that kind of success today. Was good early. here yesterday, but today has been a new day and been a rude awakening. And we'll be starting to Shubham Ranjane. Change of ends, though. Bowling from the northern end. That's where he had a lot of success yesterday, Peter.
Yeah, he did. He had that spell. Only conceded 12 runs in that 4-over spell yesterday.
Been more expensive today. 28 runs already from the first 3 overs. And Shehan Jayasuriya looking for his half century. This time goes into out. Not going to carry to the fielder over there at deep cover. So just get 1, but you'll take 1s from here on out if you're UMMC. Try to bog things down. Keep the Kingsmen away from 160. And this is setting up, Peter, to be a very enticing chase, a very enticing second innings. Maybe that close match that we're all so desperate for. Use of the feet, and he's gone. Shubham Ranjane deceived in the air, slowed it down, pulled the length back. Did Ludda and Jaskar Malhotra, the easiest of stumpings to claim that 3rd wicket.
And I've got to give an assist here to Ali Sheikh, Calvin Savage, bowling in partnerships. It was the pressure that had been building in the overs leading up to this and allowed Lada to just flight it, entice him to come down the track looking for the big hit, and Ranjani got nowhere near it. He wanted to smash this out of the ground and then realized a couple strides in he was going to get nowhere near to the pitch of the ball. Tried to check it into a defensive poke, and sayonara. Sarjeet Lada gets his first wicket today. Clever bowling, but again, it was really a team effort there. It was the pressure that had been built up prior to that allowed him to strike.
You talked about it. It's pressure. It's not only batting in partnerships, but bowling in partnerships. Something that the Sump Army struggled with earlier today. Just not able to get constant pressure at both ends, and we saw it here. Pressure from both ends. Ali Sheikh was able to build up pressure. Aglish Bogadam was able to build up pressure, and they've rewarded individuals with wickets, and it'll bring out Saad Ali. Someone who came early on for the Kingsmen yesterday. Had a good innings in his own right, so he'll be out in the middle now to try to close and propel the tail end of this Kingsmen innings. It's flighted, and it's just hit straight down to that long off fielder. And again, now we'll have 2 lefties, rather, in the middle, not that lefty-righty combination. And Shehan Jayasuriya hasn't shown out all the unconventional strokes yet, Peter. He's shown the 1 switch hit, which he wasn't able to connect on, but you have to imagine sooner or later, all the shots are going to come out.
Well, they've only got 14 balls left, so doesn't really have an opportunity to be playing for a half century here. He's got to keep attacking. Can't be milking singles around at this stage.
Goes for the big sweep, unable to connect. Feels like he missed out, and you hit it on the head, Peter. At this stage of the game, you can't just be milking singles. If you have a spinner in the last 4, especially the last 3, you want to take advantage of them. Look at the turn on that googly, Peter. Unbelievable. That's what undid that big slog sweep. This time use of the feet and stumped. 2 in the over for Ludda. Jaskar Malhotra, full stretch to get that stumping away as Shehan Jayasuriya looked to come down the track. And that is the end of his innings. Misses out on a half century, but Ludda showing why he's such a valuable asset.
Man, this is the kind of over that'll get the scouts riding furiously in their yellow legal pads as you can see just 3 runs and take 2 wickets at the death. And that's the kind of over that any T20 franchise would be salivating over if they had that in their lineup.
And again, Peter, it's that goo. Look how much this turns away from Shehan Jayasuriya. It looked like he might be able to cover it up with the bat, but it was just the amount of turn he gets off this wicket that hasn't really shown a lot of turn in it. He's able to extract everything out of it. It's been a great over for him. 18 overs gone. It's 140 for the loss of 4. And that'll bring out Calvin Savage here in the 19th from the southern end. And again, was taken advantage of in all of his previous overs. As Milind Kumar, the new man in the middle, he'll be at the non-striker's end. Good to see him out there after the blow he took to that right hand of his yesterday. But Savage will start to Saad Ali. And the big thing here, Peter, is both of these batters new to the middle. Ali's only faced one delivery, and Milind Kumar has yet to face one. Both very high class, highly talented. But now you expect them to get going early against the likes of Calvin Savage. Just misses the run-up to start things off here. And again, no time to really settle in. Got 12 deliveries to go and packed offside field, deep point, deep cover, long off, long on. And takes this one over the top of cow corner. Has he got all of it? It will be one bounce. Tunmukjan who walks the tightrope. It doesn't step over the boundary. Keeps it to just 2. But the ploy from Calvin Savage seems to be the same. Keep it away from the left-hander. Keep it wide, and they're going to drag all across the stumps. This time straighter, high elbow. I think he's just picked out the fielder, though. And there he has. It's Ali Sheikh out there in the deep. Not going to make that mistake. And Saad Ali has to go. Put in a tough situation. Had to come in and hit straight away, but could only hit it to the hands of the trustworthy Ali Sheikh.
Well, I mentioned before his skill is throwing a tight spiral with Burt Cockley in warm-ups. He looks like a punt returner, calling for a fair catch on that one. It's just skied to Ali Sheikh, get long off, and so casual.
Makes it look effortless there. You can see just comes off the outer half of the bat, takes a look down, but Ali Sheikh was always under it, was in the air for a while, but never a mistake, and cool as a cucumber out there. The 5th wicket falls, and it'll bring out Ahmad Azam. And again, tough situation. Neither of these two bats have seen a single delivery, and they're going to be asked to hit straight away. This is the one nice thing about having wickets in hand. If you lose some here, you can always survive, but those wickets are dot balls, and if you are the Kingsmen, you want to get to that 160 mark, put some pressure on a very deep UMMC batting lineup that features Unmukchand and Jaskar Malhotra. The big bat of Calvin Savage in the middle as well. Plenty of bats to go around. This one just going to be hit too short third. Keeps it from going to the boundary. Nitish Kumar, your biggest takeaway from yesterday was his ability to play those reverse sweeps, Peter, and I'm sure those will be on display if he gets an opportunity to be out there in the middle. So plenty of batting to come for UMMC, so ever so vital to put up as many runs as you can in this last over and a half.
Not just plenty of batting, but plenty of different styles. They've got a lot of different options that'll keep you off balance. There's not just a one-track method that they've got. Plenty of very dynamic stroke players.
Dynamic strokes. This one's hit straight back. Ali Sheikh nearly. Not sure if it carried, but it did really well to keep that from going to the boundary. Saves 3 runs.
That's the kind of drive that we saw earlier today that a few other players didn't really put in the effort to even get to the ball. Ali Sheikh, you can see how much he's desperate to impress here in front of the scouts and selectors, going all out. And I thought from our angle it may have just barely carried. I think it just got to the fingertips at shoelace height, and it's at that awkward angle that may have jammed his fingers. kind of sandwiching the ball between the fingers and the ground. And he's kind of clutching at his left hand now after the fact. I hope he's okay.
Good Yorker there from Calvin Savage. End up being a run there out to Ali Sheikh, who can't seem to be able to take out of the game.
And it's just these little 1%er type things. The hustle that he has. He's got beans in his pants or something. I don't know. He's got all this energy. Where is it coming from? Different level of energy that you don't have necessarily from some of the other more experienced players on display. Maybe feel like their spot is assured in the draft. He's not taking anything for granted.
And Calvin Savage is showing off why he picked up 4 wickets yesterday, showing that he's not just a one and done. He can do it consistently, finishes with the dot ball, and at the end of 19, it's 145 for 5. So interesting decision here, Peter, for Jaskar Malhotra. Doesn't really have another pacing option to go to. Looks like he might turn to Ali Sheikh with ball in hand, but it's going to be a spinner. Do you like the Ali Sheikh decision there?
Well, he is somebody who we did see at under 19 level would bowl late overs. When he took a 5-wicket haul in the national championship in 2021, the men's national championship, the majority of those wickets were actually taken at the death. He bowled a lot of late overs in that sequence. And that was his best performance in that tournament. And it's something he's used to, so it's not the worst option. And again, this is partially as a result of the fact that, mentioned before, Rusty Tron has left the field, so he's not able to complete his quota. So they're turning to Ali Sheikh at the death. And the speed that he bowls at, again, it's not a traditional spinner speed.
But this shot is a traditional one, straight back over the top, and it's going to be 6. Hamad Azam saying, it doesn't matter if you're a traditional spinner or not, I'm going to throw my hands at you.
The first boundary conceded by Ali Sheikh, and that was one of the rare times as well we saw him flighted a little bit. Every single delivery in his first 2 overs, he was darting it in quick and flat, and for some reason on this occasion, at the death, when you would typically expect a bowler to try and spear it in quick and full and not give batters an opportunity to have time to free their arms, for some reason he just decided to give this one a little bit more air, and Hamad Azam only too eager to capitalize on it.
This time shorter. It's hit over the top of fine leg, and it's going to be a 1-bounce 4. Wasn't quite hit as well as Hamad Azam would have been, but it was placed well enough. 4 runs.
And now Jaskar Malhotra is coming down the wicket to have a chat with him. And again, you almost get the sense he's looking to buy wickets here, which is not really necessary. You'd be happy to concede 6 singles here, and I'm not really sure why he's kind of changed his method to try and give it some flight on these first 2 deliveries of this over. All he really needs to do is just spear it in his usual style. Just dart it in quick and flat. Don't give it an opportunity to play expansive shots and force them to do something they're not comfortable with. And I think that may have been part of the discussion just now between Jaskar Malhotra and Ali Sheikh.
They're going to swing at Ali Sheikh here, and I think you're absolutely right. Get it in there quick. Don't give these guys room and time to think. Is quicker. This one looks pretty straight. Big appeal, and the fingers raised, and there's the wicket. After conceding 2 boundaries, he picks up a wicket and a much-needed dot ball for UMMC.
Why wasn't he doing that at the start of the over? That's the question, Aman, because, again, that's been his bread and butter delivery. That's what's given him the most success today. So finally, the third ball of this over, he spears it in much quicker, beats the sweep. Just the timing was thrown off. He beat him for pace, beat the shot, and Hamad Azam is going back to the tents. And Ali Sheikh, a deserved wicket to his name after not getting that kind of success in his first 2 overs.
And again, it's another situation we talk about. We talked about it yesterday. New South Wales scout talked about on the MLC social page that they're looking for players in situations. What do they do in this situation or that situation? This is a situation you don't get often as a spinner, but it does happen where you do have to bowl in the death. And this is an opportunity for Ali Sheikh to show that he has that ability to do so. He's shown he can bowl in those middle overs, and now he's going to have a task on his hand with Harmeet Singh coming out with bat in hand, one of the biggest hitters in all of minor league cricket. Bats at a strike rate around 180 in minor league, and you know he's going to tee off. Gets the under half of the bat and will just concede a single, but like you said, Peter, this is what Ali Sheikh should have been doing the whole over.
Yeah, the first two deliveries were flighted and got annihilated. And now his next two deliveries, he's darted in very flat, very quick. He's got a wicket off one and then an inside edge that nearly dragged onto the stumps for the second. It went for a single, so whatever was in that chat that Jaskar Malhotra had with him seems to have worked.
I'll be bowling to the Philadelphian captain, Milind Kumar, and he's bowled him straight through, looking to rock onto the back foot, but much quicker through the air, quicker onto him, and knocks over one of the poles, and that is the end, and a second wicket there for Ali Sheikh.
This is a good adjustment. Again, for a younger player, one of the things that stands out about Ali Sheikh, he's a thinking player, and he makes quick adjustments. When something has happened and it's not worked, he's not going to stubbornly stick to it. He knows how to make adjustments in-game. He's one of the best players at making in-game adjustments that you see at the junior level around the USA. And just in the space of this one over, he's made rapid adjustments from conceding back-to-back boundaries to now 2 wickets in the space of 3 balls. And what was looking at one stage like a disastrous over is now looking like a pretty successful one, not just for Ali Sheikh, but for the UMMC Knight Riders.
Now final delivery into Liam Plunkett. And it's a full toss. It's hit into the leg side. Should be taken and is. Consecutive wickets to finish the over. 3 and 4 balls. And he also picks up the wicket of someone he must have grown up watching on TV, Liam Plunkett. The 8th wicket falls, and that's a dot ball to finish out the 20th over.
The Iron Sheikh ruling with the iron fists in the 20th over here. 3 wickets in the space of 4 balls. Way to wrap up the innings for the youngster out of Texas, Ali Sheikh, the pride of Plano. 3 wickets to the death. Milind Kumar, Hamad Azam, and Liam Plunkett. And what could have been a 165, 170 total at one stage for Kingsmen. Now looks like a very underwhelming 156 for 8.
Yeah, and again, it's what they were able to do with the ball. Justin Dill was expensive, and so was Calvin Savage, but it was Akhilesh Bogadam, 4 overs, 18 runs and 2 wickets. Sarbjit Ladda, 4 overs, 30 runs and 2 wickets. And Ali Sheikh, 3 overs, 22 runs and 3 wickets. It was those 3 spinners that reeled things back. The 1 over from Nitish Kumar was expensive, but other than that, it was spin that was getting the job done for UMMC. And now they'll be sent in to chase 157 in their 20 overs. Don't go anywhere. It should be a very enticing chase. Again, this is a wicket that's going to be good for both sides. Very intrigued to see what we do in this second innings. Don't go anywhere because we're going to get to see the likes of Jaskar Malhotra, Unmuk Chand, and the rest of that batting lineup. 157, that's the mark to beat. Welcome back to match number 4 here in the MLC Champions Open between the Kingsmen and the UMMC Knight Riders. The UMMC Knight Riders will need 157 in their second innings to win this match, and they're going to be led by the same opening pair, Noman Anwar and Unmuk Chand, and the new opening bowler here for the Kingsmen. It's going to be the ex-England international Liam Plunkett. Amon Patel joined by Peter Della Penna to start play. Peter, 157 would be, it's not a huge total to chase down, but it also feels like it's not going to be a walk in the park here on this wicket that's seen now the 4th match played on it.
Yeah, scoring's gotten a little bit more difficult. But there's still plenty of runs on offer. Saw how successful Shahan Jahangir was in particular early in his knock.
This one is aerial. It's going to be 4 runs. A thickish outside edge flares over what would be second slip and away from a wideish third man out in the deep. And a forward open up the account for Noman Anwar.
He just got a little bit of width. And that third man on the rope is very, very wide. Would have taken a special effort for him to cut that off.
Yeah, Noman Anwar, someone who came in and immediately showed his value as part of the Michigan Cricket Stars with a century quickly and played well yesterday. Good knock for him. Facing a little bit of a different challenge here with Liam Plunkett. But Liam Plunkett didn't have the greatest of days yesterday. Was one of the more expensive bowlers in his lineup. Wasn't quite as good as maybe you would have expected on a difficult wicket at times with difficult conditions. Right now, not a cloud in the sky. Sun is beating down. Just a little bit of wind. Feels like perfect cricketing weather. And who would imagine that would have been the case this morning? As this one's just cut straight onto the wicket, but they'll be able to get a single and put Unmuk Chand on strike. And now here's a matchup here. Unmuk Chand, who has really made a name for himself in minor league and has the most runs in minor league cricket. Going to be up against Liam Plunkett, the man who's won a World Cup. You have an under-19 World Cup winner and a men's ODI World Cup winner facing off here in Prairie View, Texas, of all places, Peter.
Believe it.
That's what Major League Cricket's all about, and again, that's the beauty of American cricket, spreading quickly across the states. And this one rushing quickly past the outside edge of Unmuk Chand. Again, just a little bit of nip off the wicket. It's going to be a good battle, this. Good test. Take a look at this, Peter.
And just a little bit of movement away. You were talking about World Cup winner versus under-19 World Cup winner. There's an under-19 World Cup winning teammate as well that Liam Plunkett is having some chats to at mid-off. Harmeet Singh, who is a teammate of Unmuk Chand in that 2012 title-winning squad. He's wearing number 7 at mid-off in the Kingsmen squad. And Liam Plunkett is opening the bowling for here.
Harmeet Singh, the captain of the side today, and I'm sure he'll have plenty of words for his bowlers of how to attack Unmuk. He's also seen a lot of Unmuk Chand, both in the Pacific Conference of minor league. Harmeet with Seattle, Unmuk with Silicon Valley.
And even though they were under-19 World Cup teammates, you could say there was a little bit more than friendly rivalry at MILC Finals weekend last year when Seattle Thunderbolts beat Silicon Valley Strikers in the semifinal, and the wickets that they got, the way that Harmeet Singh celebrated some of those wickets, in particular that of Unmuk Chand, left an indelible image in the minds of anybody who was present there. You can't say it didn't mean anything to him.
Can't say that indeed, as the first over comes to a close for 7, and again, it just shows the passion that these players still have, and it's what makes minor league and what's going to make Major League Cricket so great. It's just the desire to win, the want to win, and They want to win these battles and play high-quality cricket. As from the northern end, we're going to have the left arm seamer operating in Zia-ul Haq. And this is a flash through the covers. It's gone over the top of covers. And there's going to be a couple of bounces over the rope for 4 runs. Definitely off the outer half of the bat. But Noman Anwar, he'll take boundaries anywhere they come.
Yeah, we saw Noman Anwar get a good start yesterday. And now he's getting another opportunity here to showcase what he can do. He's got that green star badge on his helmet. Distinct feature of the Pakistan players.
This one, though, more off the middle. And what a shot that is. More just a short arm jab that was. Didn't really put a huge extension into it, but got it off the middle and times it well enough for 6.
Just the sound that came off the bat. Like you said, it was just a little flick of the wrist. Just a little jab, like you said. You get enough rip snap into it, though, and it can definitely leave somebody stunned and wondering what just happened. And that's definitely what Zia-ul Haq is wondering as he goes back to his mark. That just rocketed off the bat over a deep square leg.
Pulls the length back this time, ul Haq, after going fuller and getting hit for 2 boundaries. This time pulls the length back. And it'll be Unmukhchand on strike. And something that he's had to adjust to here is the fact that when he's bowled full, he's been taking advantage of, especially when he's strayed in his line, whether it's been too wide or on the body. It's been far too easy. It's where he's taken most of his wickets in minor league cricket. But the margins of error just get so much tighter here in this Champions Open and in Major League Cricket. It's been a point of struggle for ul Haq. Full, wide, and same result. This time even better, though, off the middle of the bat. He'll find 4 more.
Yeah, this is really impressive from Unmukhchand and Noman Anwar. And Chand this time gets plenty width. And the problem is Zia-ul Haq is bowling both sides of the wicket. It's hard to set a field for this. And you're bowling on the legs, and then you're going way outside off stump. Got to find some consistency.
And that's a length. That's a much better length. There was width on offer, but it was just that he pulled that back and didn't allow Unmukhchand to just get onto the front foot and drive it like he normally likes to. A little bit of movement away as well. Again, he's able to move the ball. He's just struggled with the lines and the lengths to be bowling, especially with the field. No fielders in the deep in front of square. Just has that deep third and a deep backward square leg. And again, there's their length, that time on the body line, but we'll finish the over with 2 dot balls, and that'll do it for the second over. 22 without loss. Peter, a quick start here for UMMC. 22 runs through 2 overs. The Kingsmen only had 13 through their first 2. And Noman Anwar, he's had 2 edgy boundaries, but he's got that 6 away. So we know if he can get going and sit in the middle, he's more than capable of scoring big. And Unmukhchand, the resume speaks for itself in minor league cricket. All those hundreds, 100 couple miles down the road at Musa Stadium in a playoff game. A lot of experience between the two as Liam Plunkett comes in to bowl the second over. Starts much straighter and starts with a dot ball.
Plunkett has had a distinguished career in England and now bases himself in eastern Pennsylvania. He's in suburban Philadelphia. Obviously based with the Philadelphians franchise in minor league cricket. And that's where his wife is from. She's from that area outside of Philadelphia.
Look at that. Plenty of carry for Liam Plunkett. Plenty of pace, plenty of balance in the wicket. And you can see Noman Anwar look up into the heavens thinking, how did I not get any piece of bat on it? Dangerous delivery. If there was just the slightest touch of bat, would have flown over for a certain boundary, you feel. But well directed by Liam Plunkett. And due to that, he's prompted to bring in third man. So interesting change. He's sent back. Long gone, Peter. Is this the double bluff? Does he bowl that a second time, or is he going to go fuller?
Well, now he's still trying to figure out what he wants to do. That long on is now shifted more to a deep mid-wicket or cow corner. Mid-on is up in the ring.
This time on to the body of Anwar and just get a single, and so a much better fight back in this over from Liam Plunkett.
Yeah, Liam Plunkett, I think some people, there might be misconceptions about why some of these guys are here. You read all sorts of stuff online about these guys are mercenaries or they're chasing money. The reality is some of these guys are here for family reasons. A lot of these guys are here for family reasons. Liam Plunkett, one of those. Said his wife is from the Philadelphia area.
Oh, look at that shot there for Chand. Liam Plunkett had just moved short, mid-wicket to a short region, and Chand takes a couple of steps down the wicket and sends it over the top. Huge six that.
Well, that's definitely a lifestyle change from Chand. He's getting comfy, freeing the arms, heaving this over mid-wicket. As it's landing over the rope, he's getting out his easy chair, putting his feet up on the recliner, enjoying that one, sail for six.
Showing an ability to bat in T20 leagues here, as this one much closer onto the body and just skirts past that outside edge as Unmuk looked to run that one down to third man. But like you mentioned, it's a change of lifestyle because Unmuk John's usually someone who's going to bat at or around 100 strike rate and push the ball. He's started to become more of an explosive bat, start to use the shots earlier, and again, it's because of the fact that it is a T20 league, and these are what these scouts are looking for. Not only can you bat up top the order, but can you be lower and come in and hit the ball? And he's doing so right now. That one, just inner half of the bat. And that'll end the third over. Just the one boundary coming from it, plus a single. And that'll make it 29 without loss after 3.
Shayan Jayasuriya is another one. He married an American from New York. And so when he first came, he was initially in New York, got married in Staten Island, I believe. And some of his wedding photos went on social media. I think he had some wedding photos with the Brooklyn Bridge in the background. They went very popular among the Sri Lankan cricket community. And Corey Anderson, why is he based in Dallas, Texas? People are wondering. Well, his wife is from the Dallas area. So there's all sorts of reasons why a lot of these guys have come here. I think the portrayal sometimes, they're unfairly maligned. Again, being accused of being mercenaries is just not the case. There's all sorts of reasons players move around, and family reasons definitely one of them. But the fact that there is now a competition like MLC here for them to continue their profession, it's a wonderful thing for American cricket and for these players as well.
It's Ihsan Adil to start things off. A chance of a run out. Direct hit. Finger stays down, though. Nomen Anwar gets back in the end, but a hot start. Ihsan Adil, a star yesterday with the ball in hand, picking up a couple of wickets, but primarily bowled from the southern end. A change of ends for him, but take a look at this run out opportunity.
Harmeet Singh charged in, and he didn't even get back upright. He just flicked it kind of with his body almost parallel to the ground. Never really comes back up to an upright position. Just unleash it very, very quickly. And even still, with that quick release, they were able to pinch the single in the end.
This one taken straight back over the top, and the second time we've seen Mukchand use his feet and advance to the pacer. This time, as straight as an arrow, hits the side screen straight back, and second time he's made a bowler look up. 6 more to Mukchand.
Well, you talked about it. When he first came here, you say he's the leading scorer in MILC now. The first month or so, he wasn't playing like this. Remember that much. He had a really serious struggle adjusting not just to the style of play different players were presenting to him, but the style of wickets, very, very different, adapting to what he was used to in India. But the way he's playing now, you can tell that adjustment period is long since passed, Aman.
He's getting comfortable in a new environment, and again, he's just getting comfortable here in this Champions Open, and again, showing why he's going to be one of the first, maybe the first pick in the draft coming this Saturday at the Johnson Space Center in Southwest Houston. So it's going to be an exciting Sunday. Mukchand already to 17 off 9, and again, it's just really accelerated. Ihsan Adil, how does he answer? Oh, look at the innovation there. Made the decision early, and that's gone all the way for 6. Got a huge piece of this one. Is a shot he's added to the arsenal, and is a shot he's played incredibly well here.
The umpire signals touchdown, baby. It's good for 6. What a shot. And Mukchand, again, he's showing the kind of shots that he didn't have in his arsenal when he first came here. He was very much a textbook player, very orthodox, but he's adapting in all sorts of ways to demonstrate what he's capable of coming up for MLC.
Looking for a more conventional shot there, but unable to do so. A little bit of extra bounce available for Ihsan Adil, but the damage has been done in the over. 13 runs already coming from it, but it doesn't look like Mukchand has any plans on slowing down, and if he really gets going, it could be a quick chase here. A wicket is going to be desperately required, and you would have to imagine spin could be brought into the attack as early as the next over. Maybe a Harmeet Singh, just depending on how many more shots we see out of Mukchand. This time just runs at a point, nowhere to go, just a dot ball. So back-to-back dot balls to close out this 4th over. Another eventful one. It's 42 without loss. Be interesting to see where Harmeet Singh goes. You can see a little bit of a huddle, and they're asking the question, how do we slow down Mukchand? The entirety of minor league cricket has been asking that question for a while. And again, is it spin? Is it pace? What's the direction they go to? And it looks like it's going to be a change of ends for Zia-ul-Haq, who started from this end yesterday in the Kingsmen matchup. He's going to be changing the ends, and he wants to bowl from this end with the longer, bigger boundary on the leg side, so maybe going to attack the body of Nomen Anwar. And still those field restrictions in place. But it feels like this is an important over for the Kingsmen. Feels if they can get a wicket here, they can call their way back into the match, but a couple of more big overs could just take things out of reach. Field is unchanged with that deep backward square and that deep third man who's incredibly wide. Goes on to the body, fine leg in place, able to stop it and just keep it to one. Really good work inside the ring.
Looked like Shubham Ranjani was the fielder there, and for a moment I thought he was going to have a run-out chance. Not only did he tumble to the ground and corral that ball, but again the release was rapid fire. And again, you can see the guys who are desperate to impress. Ali Sheikh in the field was one, and Shubham Ranjani, whatever he's doing with bat or in the field, the level of intensity that he's bringing to the table is just a notch above some of the other players that we're seeing here.
This one's short, pulled. Fielder was there, but it won't matter. That's going to be all the way. Couple of bounces for 4. And Unmukchand, again, he's not fazed by anything at the moment and just pouring on the runs.
Just sat up there. Again, it just shows how good this wicket has been throughout the day. And very elegant hook shot. He was in control of that one all the way. He knew that fine leg was up in the ring, so he had plenty of open real estate behind square to play that shot.
This time uses his feet and it splits the cover fielders inside the ring, and he'll find 4 more. Zia-ul Haq thought he did enough by moving the ball away, but just not quite out of the reach of Unmukchand, and he'll find 4 more, and now he's batting at above a 200 strike rate.
Well, it looks like he's got the Indiana Jones voodoo doll right now. He's just taking the pins and he's just toying with the bowlers here, doing whatever he feels like. I'm on leg side, off side, in front of square, behind square. It doesn't matter. He's manipulating the field however he chooses. And Kingsmen looking like paupers right now in the field, struggling to find an answer for Unmukchand.
Again, a couple more overs like this could take this game away from the Kingsmen. This one hits straight back, and 4 more. Save your legs. As straight as you like. 4, 4, and why not another one for Unmukchand?
He's gone over the leg side, behind square. He's gone through cover. Now he's continuing to work his way around the wagon wheel. He says, how about I go just straight back down the middle? Back down the pitch, back past the bowler, back past the non-striker, threw mid on, threw mid off. Ticking off all the boxes in this over. And it's sparked a change in the field. Liam Plunkett is now going to go back to long on, and deep third man is going to come into the ring.
Can suggest that it's going to be fuller, closer to the body. Any room outside the off stump is going to be punished. And he's bowled him. The Yorker works. Look to open the face of the bat there and misses out, and that could be the wicket that changes the game. Unmukchand gone, and Zia-ul Haq, he delivers.
Looks like an immovable object. Unmukchand, all it took is a Yorker. You can manipulate the field with a lot of things. It's hard to manipulate that. Through the offside, through the leg side. He couldn't jam it out. Just the picture-perfect delivery from Zia-ul Haq to finally undo all the good work that Unmukchand had been doing to that stage. But he left his mark. He made a serious impression, no doubt, with the shots he was playing in front of the scouts here. Just days away from the MLC draft, so 35 off 17 balls for Unmukchand. And one of the stats that gets recorded in T20 cricket, it's a newer age stat. The traditional metric is 50s and 100s in cricket, but in T20 stats, they mark down 30s. That's one of the indicators that teams like to see. If you've made a 30, that indicates that you've made a pretty sizable nugget contribution into a T20 match, and what Unmukchand did just now definitely fits that bill.
Well, here we go, Jaskar Malhotra, new man in the middle. Reaching out for that final delivery of the 5th over. An over that saw 3 boundaries, but saw the end of Chand. Can this over change the game? And at the end of 5, it's 55 for 1.
An excellent start in this run chase, and what is a pretty subpar total on this surface, which looks very good for batting. And definitely, I think the Kingsmen will feel like they've underperformed with the bat in hand. Should have really got more than just 156 runs. Had wickets in hand, had very capable batters at the crease, but may have been a case of just going a little too hard, too late. 55 for 1. An excellent start by Norman Anwar. Chan, who's now departed. And a long batting lineup to come for this UMMC side. So the wickets will be critical if the Kingsmen have any chance, and it's why Harmeet Singh has brought on himself with the final over of the power play to bowl. And starts with an absolute beauty, but it's more runs. How do they win this game, PDP?
By scoring 157.
And more meant the Kingsmen. By defending 157, that's it, I say.
But yeah, by holding them to 155. It's all it. It's a simple game, Nikhil. Score more runs than the other team.
You learn something new every day, PDP. Didn't know that. Now I do.
Well, we saw the spinners be very effective, and I'm a bit surprised that it's taken this long to introduce spin as Naman Anwar pierces the gap through cover. We saw Ali Sheikh be very effective. We saw Akhilesh Badugam be very effective. We saw Sarbjeet Lada be effective. So just curious how much damage Harmeet Singh is going to be able to do here. And one of the things that Ali Sheikh did very well to death was, again, he bowled very quick, darted it in flat, didn't give them time to free their arms.
That is gone. That has disappeared. Norman Anwar, well, especially on tracks like this, where he's used to conditions similar to what he would get in Pakistan, he's really making you pay as a bowler. You don't see Harmeet Singh going for 6 too often.
And again, where Ali Sheikh was successful was darting it in quick. The spinners who've been flooding it on this wicket anyway haven't had as much success, given them the opportunity to charge down the wicket and do what Naman Anwar just did. Just got to be able to build up some pressure, build up the pressure. And pressure is what looks like it has led to wickets today. Sarbjeet Lada, Ali Sheikh, Akhilesh Badugam, 11 overs between them, responsible for 7 wickets.
That's a good shout, but may have just been missing leg.
Yeah. From that angle, he's not turning it back much, if at all.
Yeah, things happening, though, for the spins for Harmeet Singh, and it's going to be another boundary, though. Don't think he'll mind that too much because he's causing problems, but the problem is the run rate is getting away from them. A huge over. 16 runs from it, 71 for 1.
Yeah, the issue they've got is basically the lack of spin options by comparison. Hamad Azam, Liam Plunkett, Zio Al-Haq, Ehsan Adil. This is a medium pace heavy team. Harmeet Singh and Shehan Jayasuriya really the only two options where you would expect to see a full quota of spin being bowled. So Kingsmen a little bit hamstrung in terms of their strategy because they don't have the same level of spin options that the UMMC Knight Riders had. And they're going to have to try and find another way to take some wickets.
And because they want wickets, it's why they're going back to Isan Adil. First over was expensive, but you'll remember his second over of his spell yesterday. He picked up 2 wickets. He gambled a bit yesterday, Harmeet Singh, going to his premier seamer, and it worked. Can it work again? You don't often see Harmeet Singh going for 16 runs. Tells you not only about this surface, but about how dangerous these two in the middle can be, especially Noman Anwar at the non-striker's end. Down the track, Jaskar Malhotra says he wants in on the fun as well, and no ball signaled, so going from bad to worse at the moment for Kingsmen.
Well, Jaskar Malhotra is a player you pitch it up to him, it's going to disappear. He's somebody who feasts on anything pitched up. You got to drag the length back if you're going to trouble him at all. And this is right in his power arc. Just takes a shuffle down the track and launches that over wide along off, and he's going to get a free hit on top of it.
It's gone high. The catch should be taken, but it won't matter. It was a free hit. So he survives Jaskar Malhotra. I think he feels he could have done a bit more with that. And it's another no ball signal. So we mentioned the difficulties in bowlers running into the wind. The wind isn't that intense at the moment. Just seems to be overstepping.
Well, it's intense enough to cause some problems for Ace and Adil. Seen this an awful lot in the past with somebody like Jesse Singh running into the wind and continually losing his run-up and leading to no balls. He's been notorious for that on the USA scene, and now see the difficulties with Ace and Adil. And when you're working so hard to run through the wind, you can lose your run-up. You're just not in the same rhythm that you are with the wind at your back. And back-to-back no balls here. And this time around, it's going to be Nauman Anwar who gets the free hit. Right-hander with the green Pakistan Star helmet on, and Malhotra off strike now with that fluorescent orange Delhi Bulls franchise helmet with the long sleeves on.
Have to re-bowl it as well. So not the over that I think Harmeet Singh was looking for when he went to Isan Adil. All of his bowlers have been expensive. They'll look at that first innings and think they need someone like a Sarbjeet Ladder. Every time he was brought into the attack, caused an impact and made a couple breakthroughs.
And again, this just highlights the issue of not having enough spin options at their disposal. Medium pacers have gotten a lot more punishment today, and SN Adil is struggling here.
No ball again. And 6 more. This game, you think, could be over in the next couple of overs. He just can't get that front foot right. And Jermaine Lindo is continuously signaled no ball. 0 balls have been bowled in this over.
Is this the Schrodinger's cat of overs? Has the ball actually been delivered? Does it actually count? What's inside the box? What's outside the box? Somehow, he's turned his arm over 4 times. And yet the graphic there still says 6.0 overs. Extraordinary sequence here.
Good bouncer in the end. Very fast, and the arm stays down. So finally the first legal delivery, and it's conceded 17 runs.
Yeah, this is an over to forget for Ehsan Adil. And from his perspective, you're hoping it doesn't tarnish what he did yesterday when he bowled very, very impressively. And for his sake, you hope some of these MLC scouts are taking a benevolent view, taking mercy on him with regards to the fact that he has to run into the wind, and it's caused some disruption to his rhythm and led to some of these miscues.
This time gets it right. I think when you see stroke play like what we've seen from a Noman Anwar, Unmuk Chant earlier, it tells you that shots can be played. Jaskar Malhotra on screen will want to play similar shots, but it's why I think Isan Adil and his Kingsmen will feel disappointed that they only got to 156. In the last 5 overs, only scored 36 runs, and that's because they lost 6 wickets. No real opportunity to get any momentum in that innings. They had wickets in hand, but a quick flurry cost them in the end.
I'll tell you what, I'm having a look at Hassan Adil's delivery stride, and now he's having a look at Nauman Anwar. Getting a little bit testy out there. He's not exactly happy with how things have unfolded in this over, but he's getting awfully, awfully close to that line. Every single delivery, you almost feel like it might not be the end of the no balls in this over, because he's cutting that line awfully, awfully tight every single time. And the umpires have not been giving him any leeway whatsoever.
Another swing and a miss, and Isan Adil, that will just stir him up some more. He's usually, if you meet him off the field, he's one of the quietest people you will meet around cricket. Very nice, always smiling, but clearly when he has the ball in hand, turns into a different beast.
Hearing those things. Got Albie Morkel in the next 10 over. Might be a reminder of how people talk about his brother Mornay. One of the most gentle giants off the field, always smiling. Lovely guy. And on the field, not too many people want to be on strike facing Mornay Morkel when he was in his prime. I know that much. We got one of those in the USA. Elmore Hutchinson, gentle giant.
On the legs this time. So since that 17-run first ball, it's been a really good comeback from Isan Adil. A string of 4 dots and now a single. But still, he's gone for 31 in 11 deliveries. Not going to help their cause when you're only defending 156.
Just shows the struggles at the start of the over. Looked like they were primarily mental. Now that he's not having to worry about overstepping, he can focus more on his line and length. He's been much more precise.
Again, very straight, very consistent. A good comeback. Just 2 runs since that first delivery, but he goes for 19 runs. End of 7, 90 for 1. And he's a real performer, Isan Adil. So you see a disappointed look on his face, knowing that he's given up a lot of runs in that over, which could be detrimental to their cause. Just 67 runs required. But I think he's showcased good skill, good ability to fight back, show fortitude in situations where you're under the pump. It's what you expect from your players who have played international cricket. Will be Harmeet Singh again, even after going for 16 runs. The captain. Don't think we've seen him at his best in terms of both with bat and ball, Harmeet Singh, but when he gets going, he is an entertainer. Strike rate of 200 plus, 220 plus in the minor league. And then, of course, with the ball in hand, so good at finding the boundary. This is also good, though, from Malhotra, and it just gets there. Playing the reverse sweep.
It's a good recognition of the field. You've got basically a backward point and a slip, so third man is wide open. And it's not a shot that you see Jaskron Malhotra play often.
This time on the other side of the wicket. It doesn't matter though. Back-to-back boundaries coming. And this game could be over in a hurry, the way that UMMC Knight Riders are going.
Again, it's just a case of manipulating the field. These shots are being played more so in recognition of the field alignment. There's not really any protection behind square on either side. And so Malhotra plays the reverse the first ball. And Harmeet Singh, the expectation is he's going to counter that. He's not going to give him width. He's going to try and bowl it as straight as possible, maybe straight onto the legs. Malhotra expecting that on the follow-up delivery after the reverse sweep. And he plays the orthodox sweep. Gets a second boundary. So this is clever cricket from Malhotra.
Then just tucks it in the onside. 9 from the first 3. He'll want to make an impact as well because yesterday, 6 from 12 deliveries and he was dismissed by Fani Samadri. So now much better start for him. 17 from 7. Was a challenging surface yesterday though to bat on for sure.
But again, the area where they've really bowled the wrong area to him is full. You bowl full to Jaskron Malhotra, he'll destroy you in a couple different ways. But if you bowl back of a length, Jaskron Malhotra finds it a lot more difficult to score runs.
The 100 coming up as well. In quick time in the 8th over. Way ahead of where things were for the Kingsmen. Just 61 after 8. Top edge should be taken and is. So after being very expensive, Harmeet Singh finally he gets that wicket and the important one of Noman Anwar.
Well, this is another guy who's gotten an awfully good start. Hasn't been able to convert it into something bigger, but the top edge sweep just swirls to Isanado, who is very, very straight at short fine leg. Even though he hasn't carried on to something beyond 50, I think he's done enough to make quite an impression on some of the scouts who are here. And just the range of stroke play that he demonstrated. And now somebody else replaces him who we saw yesterday showcase his range of stroke play. And he's going to look to stay through to the finish. Nitish Kumar, former Canada captain. These two coming together in the middle. Kumar and Jaskron Malhotra used to be on opposite sides of the field. Sparring partners when Kumar was playing for Canada and Malhotra was in a USA uniform. And now the teammates out here for the UMMC Knight Riders. And because the wicket fell on the last ball of Harmeet Singh's over, it means that Kumar will start off strike. And Malhotra will be on strike to start this over.
Chetan Bish into the attack. More spin. And this is going to be more runs as well. I wonder if Jaskron Malhotra just sort of takes over that role from Noman Anwar and looks to go all guns blazing. Or does he look to take a back seat, play it safe like we saw them do yesterday, where they similarly chased a small total. We're just chasing 110 against Sam Army.
Well, again, I think the mentality for these guys here is if you're just milking singles, playing for victory in the 20th over, you're not going to really impress anybody here. No, one of the major opportunities here is to leave an impression on these franchise scouts and owners and coaches, and they want to see what you can do, stretch yourself, showcase different things in different situations. So I don't think they want to take this to the 20th over if you're a UMMC.
Just having a word with Nitish Kumar. Played a good innings yesterday. Ensured that his team got to the finish line with no hiccups. Kumar, 30 from 26 deliveries. I think, as you said, though, you want to maybe accelerate a bit more than that. Showcase some of his abilities to strike boundaries in the middle overs.
Yeah, one of the things that definitely saw yesterday was that quite a few of the coaches and the scouts, they left by the 17th over. They'd seen enough. They knew what they wanted. They'd put their pens away. So if you're going to really make a mark, you better do it now. Nobody's interested here in seeing this match go to the 20th over and you just milk singles to victory. They want to see what you can do to step things up a notch.
Finally is able to get off the mark after 3 deliveries. This has been a good over, though. Just 2 runs from it. He needs to close out well, Shaitan Bish. Again, you don't want to stray too full because you have that entire extra cover region open where Malhotra is very strong. So he has to be very precise and go straight. He may have pitched outside leg to end the 9th. 103 for 2. Actually looked like it pitched on middle and leg, but may have just been sliding on the leg stump. So it's always been tough for umpire Jeremy Lindo to give that out. Harmeet Singh will bowl again, his 3rd on the trot. They'll think about 2 things which probably set up this victory for them. The over from Sarbajit Lada, the 18th over, the leg spinner bowling, got the wickets of both Shayan Jayasuriya and Shubham Ranjane, which really caused the downward spiral for this Kingsman side. And Ali Sheikh, 3 wickets, an excellent catch as well. He was brilliant. So they've made it easy for their batting unit to see it home towards the end. Ali Sheikh, Peter Delapenna, every team is going to be looking for under 23 players, some talent. You see him making an impact in Sunday's draft?
Oh, if you're required to pick one, he'd be the first one off the board in my draft book. Just a case of supply and demand. We haven't really seen a whole lot of players in that under 23 bracket make an impression here, but he's somebody who definitely stood out today, not just with the ball but also in the field, the energy that he had in the field. And the franchise owners and scouts who will be talking to the senior players who played in minor league, if they get into the year of Corey Anderson and say, Corey, what do you know about Ali Sheikh? Corey Anderson has plenty of good things to say about Ali Sheikh, having played alongside him with Dallas Mustangs. Doesn't hesitate ever to throw the ball to Ali Sheikh in crunch situations. And so when there are so few top quality players in that under 23 bracket, I'd expect Ali Sheikh to be one of the first, if not the first one off the board. You've also got Sai Mukamala, who's touring with the USA squad right now. Vatsal Vagela is a left-arm spinner who's been one of the leading wicket takers in minor league cricket. And there are a few options.
Goes straight with that, Nitish Kumar. Talk about a statement piece, wanting to show that he can make an impact in this middle period. That's an excellent cricket shot.
Yeah, like I said, you're not going to get anybody's pen out making notes on their notepad for the scouting book by nudging singles around. You'll get them writing furiously if you can play shots like that. Again, it's orthodox. He's not taking a wild slog at that. He's just trusting the pitch. He's trusting his ability. He knows he's got the timing and the power to clear the rope, so why not? Just get underneath that ball. Long off is very wide on the boundary. He knows if he goes straight enough, he's got no chance to stop it.
And this could be trouble. Had to hurry back. Nitish Kumar got there in the end, though. Throw probably could have been a bit straighter. Ends the 10th over, halfway stage. 113 for 2.
So we welcome you here to the second half of this second innings between the Kingsmen and the UMMC Knight Riders. 10 overs gone, 113 runs on the board, just 44 left. I'm Patel, joined by Brian Walters, and it's going to be a continuation of Chitin Bish bowling in to Jaskar Malhotra. Brian, what stood out to you? What's really changed? Because it felt like this game was poised to be pretty even, and just a quick turnaround in the favor of the Knight Riders.
Well, that target score of 156 was a little bit of, 157 rather, was sort of a middling sort of target. So you don't necessarily need to go all out initially. You're not chasing 205 or 210, but you're also needing to score more than a run a ball. So it's a bit of a middling target, but after the first few overs, effectively it felt like this match was over because the assault launched by the top order, as that's half-hearted appeal for LBW not given. The assault launched by the top order of the UMMC Knight Riders, I think, really emphasized the fact that they're a really strong side. Norman Anwar, 45 from 27, and Unmuk Chan, 35 from 17. Both of them set the tone, and then you get the sense that the rest of the batting lineup just has to run downhill. Just 4.4 needed per over to win from here.
A big appeal, and I'm just going to say it's come off the pad of Nitish Kumar, but I think you hit on the head. It was just that pressure from the top orders. We take a second look here, and that 7th over, we saw so many extras, and can't really see it from that angle just because Jaskar Malhotra is in the way of that camera shot, but it sounded pretty clear off the pad. But it was that 7th over where Ishan Nadil went 4 no ball, 1 no ball, a wide, a 6 no ball. Yeah, it kind of just changed the game. 19 runs from that 7th over. And Nitish Kumar goes down the ground, and again, I think that 7th over, that 19-run over, that just really changed and took momentum away from the Kingsmen.
Well, off camera you saw that I walked away for about 5 minutes, and I was fully expecting to come back and having to catch up on my notes, but officially when I came back, I still hadn't missed a legal ball.
And once Brian Walters sat back in his chair, all legal deliveries from there, so maybe something to look out for. Well, look at this sweep from Jaskar Malhotra. It's just going to be out to the fielder there, deep backward square. It's a shot he likes to play. Very good sweeper of the ball, so if you give him an opportunity to do so, he will take it.
Jaskar, and of course we mentioned it a couple of times already, one of a handful, let's say 4 international players who in an international match have hit 6 sixes in and over.
Well, look at this. This is a big 6 from Nitish Kumar. Straight back down the ground, put one on the northern end. He's going and touching all parts of the compass. This time it's the southern end. 6 more for Nitish Kumar.
Nitish Kumar, in general, is a gentleman who likes to play in the V and accumulate runs, but he's hitting big today. Looking to impress the scouts who are around. That 1-6 that went from the southern end, hitting it north, landed almost in line with the sight screen, and a similar type of shot on this occasion, where it's blasted back over the head of the bowler and landing probably some 5 yards outside of the boundary rope. So looking to finish this game real quickly here in Nitish Kumar.
And that ended the 11th over. So 122 for 2, and Harmeet Singh's going to turn to one of his Seattle Thunderbolt teammates, and Shubham Ranjane was able to be a spark plug with the bat yesterday, took a couple wickets, and he just has that knack for just being in the game at big times. We'll see if he can do it today. Had a couple of shots with the bat today. Looked pretty good with his 18 from 16. Had that 1-6 down the ground, but again, it's now just about taking wickets. Can he change things up? As you see, keeper up to the stumps for Shubham, trying to keep Jaskar Malhotra rooted to a spot.
Oh, you need a bunch of wickets to even start the conversation of getting back into this match. Just another 35 runs needed from another 54 balls.
And again, Ranjane, he's not someone who has express pace, doesn't move the ball a whole lot, but what he's able to do is able to get in the right areas, use the fact that the keeper might be up at the stumps, use the cutters and variations, and extract the most out of a wicket. And that's what makes him a tough bowler, especially in a T20 setting, and why he could be a huge asset for any team in Major League Cricket. As this one's hit up in the air, fielders, I don't think are going to get there. No, one is, and he takes it. And could this be the wicket that just might change it? Is this the first of many? They're going to need it to be. But that's the end of the captain, Jaskar Malhotra.
Well, a simple catch taken there by Shehan Jayasuriya. Stayed in the air for a very long time, and he just drifted in off of the boundary deep mid-wicket. Here you see on the replay, just really casually coming in and easily taking it. A former professional Sri Lankan cricketer is not going to drop that catch. So the captain, Jaskar Malhotra, departs. That ball wasn't exactly there for the shot that he played. He was wanting, I think, for that ball to have been a little fuller. Had that been fuller, then he could have gone in that area over wide, long on. But he ended up just spooning a pretty simple catch in the end. Stayed in the air for a very long time. And, yeah, with the swirling winds, that's not going to be an easy catch necessarily, but very well judged to perfection by Shehan Jayasuriya, and a simple catch in the end.
Well, the onslaught doesn't get easier as Angelo Pereira comes in, the former Sri Lankan national team player himself. And again, we talked about Shehan Jayasuriya taking a catch, and now it's Angelo Pereira. But again, we talked about Ranjane's knack of just getting in the game at the right time. And you feel if you can just take a couple in this over, it's a tall ask, never going to be easy. But if he's able to do that, he just changes the outlook of this game.
Any conversation about the Kingsmen coming back in to potentially put themselves in a position to win this match begins with taking a handful of quick wickets. And so, yes, all this ruling cricket, one brings two, potentially, with Ranjane and landing the ball very accurately. I agree with you that his asset is his accuracy. That potentially you could have him take a couple here.
And looks like Ranjane slipped on that one, but they'll just sneak away one in the end. And again, these singles are something you're going to cut down on. UMMC don't need any big boundaries, just 4 and over required from this point. So it's really just going to be all about what the Kingsmen can do with ball in hand. Chetan Bish has looked good with the ball. Ranjane has already got his name into wicket column, but they're going to need someone to really step up and be big with the ball. Is that a Liam Plunkett? Brian, where are you looking at on this bowling card? As this one's pushed into leg side for one.
I would have to think it would be Liam Plunkett, your former fast bowler for England. 2 overs so far for 14 runs. It makes no sense to hold him back for any length of time. If you're going to attempt to win this match, unless your objective is to showcase some of your bowlers in front of the scouts. If that's not the objective, now's the time to bring back your strike bowler.
This one run to short third, chance of a run out. Nope, quick enough in the end. He was always going to take off Nitish Kumar and made that call early. And again, this is maybe an underrated asset of what you can show to the scouts as someone in the middle. Yes, your stroke play and your ability to hit the ball is going to be big, but also your ability to take these singles. These are always important. Dot balls in T20 cricket is a cardinal sin. You want to keep the scoreboard ticking, and if you can take singles like this, you just show that off to the scouts.
100% agree with you. There are multiple ways to score heavily, and one of the ways that's underrated of scoring heavily is just running quickly and being aggressive between the wickets.
Again, just that little tickle into leg side, not trying to force anything on Nitish Kumar and Angelo Pereira, and that'll end the 12th over. At the end of 12, it's 126 for the loss of 3. Again, going to be interesting to see where Harmeet Singh goes with the ball. He's having a conversation with his big, tall English quick, and doesn't look like he's going to hand it to him. Again, they're having that conversation, but looks like they're going to go in a little bit of a different direction. Looks like they're going to go with Chetan Bish. And again, in Bish's own right, has been good in his 2 overs, only giving up 11 runs, so very economical, and seeing if they can extract some spin. Maybe also want to continue a spinner from one end, a pacer from the other. That could also be a ploy that they're trying to run through, but again, Brian, interesting decision not to bring in Liam Plunkett.
Easy for us to sit here in a nice, mostly conditioned commentators area, but for me, I'm going back to my horse. And in conceding 5 runs and over, the required rate now is under 4. It is 3.88. Before that ball, it is now 3.83. So if you can milk a finger spinner for 4 or 5 runs and over, that doesn't necessarily accomplish anything. And it would be up to the 2 batters, Nitish Kumar and Angelo Pereira, to not necessarily take any chances. You don't need to take any chances here. And so effectively, you've maybe prolonged the game and not really giving yourself a chance to take wickets.
This one up in the air and just away from Chetan Bish. Half opportunity there. I think it was well wide enough to be safe, but that half opportunity, I think, just created some excitement for the Kingsmen.
Absolutely. So from around the wicket, in looking at the replay in retrospect, it wasn't that close to him. That yell was more out of desperation than anything else. It was probably a couple yards away from him.
This one quicker, and that one just over the top of his left hand is going to be straight back down the ground for 4. We've seen so many runs in that region, and again, that desperation yell from the Kingsmen, wishing that one would have stuck in the hand of Chetan Bish.
My goodness, just stroked right down the ground, good-looking shot, and no risk in that shot. Playing very straight. In fact, just playing to the right of the wicket. In other words, slightly with the turn, but straight enough that Milind Kumar could not have gotten around from long off to get to it.
Again, just that little tickle into the leg side. They're thinking about 2. They're going to take on the arm. Direct hit would have been interesting, maybe. But again, this is just good running. They decided early on that they're going to take 2 from it, and they decided and they went for it.
So 8 runs from the over already with 2 balls still to come. So bringing your spinner back in at this stage, to me, didn't make a lot of sense. As I mentioned, maybe part of the calculus is just providing an opportunity for Chetan Bish to be seen. Maybe that's part of the thinking. Other than that, for me, I'd still want Liam Plunkett to come back in. But enough of beating that dead horse. We're only 23 runs away from this match being finished. Another 43 balls to be bowled. I don't think it's going to get anything close to that far.
Down the leg side, sweep shot comes out, no fielder in place, and far too easy. A great way for UMMC to end the over. 13 overs gone, 138 for 3. Again, Brian, just take a look at the replay. Just straying down the leg side and made it far too easy for Nitish Kumar.
My goodness. Left arm around the wicket, slanting on that angle, going down the leg side. That would have missed an entirely different set of stumps probably. And all that Nitish Kumar had to do is just get some bat on that, getting it away very easily. And the closest fielder to that is that square leg. So he's probably some 30 or so yards away from being able to closely threaten that ball from going to the boundary. So just really easy, a walk in the park at this stage for UMMC Knight Riders.
But Ranjane, as we expected, will come back into the attack after taking the wicket of Jaskar Malhotra. Can he find a couple of more? Again, with no one inside the ring on that leg side, it's just easy pickings for UMMC. Not really having to think about it, especially with how straight the bowling is. With the way the runs are going, you feel like if you are going to bowl that straight, maybe take a fielder out of the offside ring and move him into the leg side just to keep mid-wicket closed. And while saying that, fine leg will be brought to mid-wicket. So there you go. I think they might have heard us down here in the box.
Does the captain have an earpiece than is listening to you right now, because that's exactly what you would have needed to do to cut off that easy single.
This one's up in the air, but it's in the gap. It's well placed there, and again, you could hear the cries of catch it. No one was catching that one, and it's 4 more for Nitish Kumar.
Well, as they say, you can't put fielders everywhere, and when you strengthen the leg side, even though in theory you just move the fielder from fine leg to mid wicket, but that gap between, let's call it short third and backward point, it's about a 10 or so yard gap between those two fielders, and it was easily found and pierced by Nitish Kumar.
This time straighter, and this time through covers. We'll find a single, and we hadn't seen him really take on Ranjani through the offside in the previous over, and now as soon as they made that adjustment to mid-wicket, they finding the gaps in the offside, and again, it just shows to the experience and class of Nitish Kumar, again, the ex-Canadian who showed off all the reverse sweeps and switch hits yesterday, showing off more of the conventional stroke play today. Slower ball tucked into that short mid-wicket, Brian.
That fielder, the short mid-wicket, where Captain Aman Patel placed him a couple of deliveries ago. And you know, the Houston Premier League is so much better than the Dallas Premier League. I've been thinking about that recently. My apologies, Mr. Lovekesh Kalia walking by in front of us. I had to get that shot in there.
This one in the air, but behind square, and just going to find the fielder out in the deep. And again, it's this tournament, this Champions Open, has brought out all high-profile guests and has brought out all the fans of cricket to the venue. Again, just having some fun here is Brian Walters in his native state of Texas and enjoying all the cricket around. He's been around here and knows everybody around these parts. This one, big appeal, and he's walking off. Nitish Kumar just trying to open the face, and Ranjane, we talked about, has that knack of striking, strikes once again.
Nitish Kumar maybe trying to be just a little too cute. Trying to run that one behind square. Yes, that shot was on in theory, but trying to run it just a little too fine and only succeeding here, you see on the replay. Huge edge. Umpire Owen Brown immediately raising the finger. In fact, he wouldn't have needed to do that because Nitish Kumar was walking, to his credit, he was walking off the pitch after seeing that dismissal. So a third wicket make that a fourth wicket goes down. Shoham Ranjani, second wicket taken on the last ball of his second over. 2 for 11 are his figures. And still, just another 11 runs needed for victory here for the UMMC Knight Riders.
At the end of 14, it's 145 for 4. Like you mentioned, Brian, just a two-shot game now for UMMC. But we'll see a new bat. They have not played any other bat besides the ones that we've seen so far in the 2 days. And it looks like they might have sent out Ali Sheikh. Just going to wait for confirmation. That is going to be Ali Sheikh. So they sent out the young man who has already made a name for himself with the ball in the field. A couple of great catches and stops. Now he's got the bat in hand and a big lefty slugger, as they say in baseball terms, and hits the ball a long way.
He can hit the ball a long way. Of all of the elements to Ali Sheikh's game, the one that has impressed me the most, and I've seen him quite a bit, is his fielding. He is an absolute electric fielder anywhere on the field.
Well, try and field that one, Brian Walters. That one's been taken outside the park by Angelo Pereira as Shehan Jayasudia bowled his first delivery from around the wicket. Angelo Pereira said, "Thank you very much." Someone who's probably seen a lot of through the Sri Lankan domestic circuit. And how about that, Brian?
Shehan Jayasuria likes bowling around the wicket to right-handers. He tends to bowl that angle to try to keep them quiet. But getting this one a little too straight and planted over mid-wicket for 6.
Just 6 more required. This one, good hand in the field at short cover. Keeps it a 1, so we'll get to see our first look at Ali Sheikh with just 5 remaining. And he's hit plenty of 6s on this ground. Hit 100 on this ground in the MILC Junior Champion tournament that was hosted at Prairie View last year. Won the highest run scorer in that tournament. So, and on this ground again scored that century. So I'm sure he'll be looking to finish this game off with one meaty blow.
I would like to think, hopefully, that he just punches this down the ground. I don't want him to go for glory. There's no reason to go for glory. And it would really be a poor showing in front of the selectors if you did that and got caught.
And there you go, Brian, right on cue.
That's all he
He's
needs
got
to
an
do.
earpiece in, punches this one down the ground. Makes it just 4 more required, so any boundary will win the match here in this 15th over.
Wow. Just a comprehensive victory. They're going to walk home in a canter, UMMC Knight Riders.
This one tucked into the leg side. They're thinking about 2, and I think they're going to get it. Ali Sheikh very quick and never really had to be, as it was well placed in that gap. And you mentioned it, comprehensive win. Haven't really been tested yet, the Knight Riders. They've just been so good with both ball and bat, getting off to great starts in both departments and taking wickets when they needed to and using Sarvjit Ludda with the ball and Umukjan leading with the bat. As this is pushed into the leg side for 1, so make it 1 run to win the match.
The scores are level. This morning on commentary, Nikhil tried to put me on the spot. In fact, he did put me on the spot, asking me which was the team that I thought would win. And I told him, with apologies to all the other sides, I think the UMMC Knight Riders are the ones that impressed me the most.
And Ali Sheikh's knocked over, so we'll have to wait 1 more over to see the culmination of this match. I think there was just that little bit of turn, and they're just hurried by that outside edge. And so they'll extend it 1 more. Harmeet Singh and Angel Pereira share a laugh because they know its scores are level, but we'll have to bowl one more over.
Well, if they manage to string together 30 dot balls in a row, then we have a super over probably.
30 dot balls in a row would be something special, Brian. I'm not sure we've ever seen something quite like it in a T20 match, but look at this. Again, just that little bit of movement. Ali Sheikh playing inside the line and clipping top of off. They say that's exactly a bowler's dream, and Sanjay Surya getting just that.
That is exactly a finger spinning bowler's dream to a left-hander. Right-handed finger spinning bowler bowling to a left-hander wants that ball to drift in from outside off, pitch and straighten, and that's exactly what happened there. Didn't do a whole lot, but it didn't need to do a whole lot. Ali Sheikh drawn forward. That was a good length, perfect length by Shehan Jayasuriya. The ball just missing the outside edge and kissing the top of off.
Kavlin Savage comes into the middle, and he'll be hoping that he doesn't have to face a delivery because it's Angelo Pereira on strike with 1 run to go. But it is Shubham Ranjani with the ball, and get that knack of picking up wickets. If he does it on the first delivery, you never know. But more unlikely rather than not, as all the fielders come inside except for a mid-wicket who's outside the circle. Slower ball tucked away into fine leg. Going to be 1, but that's all they needed. And UMMC, comprehensive, impressive win here against the Kingsmen and remain the only undefeated side here in this MLC Champions Open.
So more of a moral victory at the end for the Kingsmen. Picked up a couple of wickets when essentially the end was pretty much already written. UMMC Knight Riders victory by 5 wickets. A pretty straightforward victory in the end. Again, mostly due to the start provided by Norman Anwar and Unmuk Chand. So we'll see the scoreboard or the scorecard on your screens. Here we are in Norman Anwar, 45 from 27. Unmuk Chand, 35 from 17. I do have to say Unmuk Chand was dismissed by a beautiful Yorker by Zia ul Haq. And then Jaskaran Malhotra, 22 from 15, and Nitish Kumar, 34 from 22. Did the majority of the damage, and then Angelo Pereira and Calvin Savage coming in to close things out at the end.
Yeah, it was just brilliant with the ball, not with the bat in hand for UMMC. And then with the ball, again, just no one really to speak of. Shubham Ranjani, 2 overs, 12 runs, 2 wickets, probably the pick of the bowlers. You talk about Liam Plunkett, 2 overs, 14 runs, but can't overstate Chetan Bish, 3 overs, 23 runs. Didn't really get that wicket. The last over was expensive, had an economy rate of just above 5 before that. But again, domination from UMMC, remaining undefeated. They win by 5 wickets, and that does it for today's play. And again, we thank you so much for tuning in and joining us here at the Prairie View Cricket Complex. For myself, for Nikhil Uttamachandi, for Brian Walters, for Peter Della Penna, for Roddy and the entire crew, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll have a break tomorrow. We'll be back in action in 2 days' time right here for MLC Champions Open.